I have 3 sisters that I love and a mother I adore. Not always, though. I hated them when I was younger, because while my father would yell at me or belittle me for everything possible, they were the apples of his eyes. I did my best at school and karate. Nothing impressed him. Not when I earned a full scholarship to a prestigious university. Not when I was the valedictorian of my year group. Not even at 26 when I managed to start my own small company that has grown considerably since. No matter what I did, I was made to feel worthless, less than a person, good for nothing, useless, a failure. I have lingering issues about it to this day. When I was younger, all I wanted just once was for my father to say, "I'm proud of you." Nothing even close. He doted on my sisters and mother, though, and I'm not proud to say I hated them for it as much as I hated him. How dare they get away so lightly? How dare they get his smiles and laughter and kind words when all I had to get was cruelty? It took me a long time to finally begin a relationship with my sisters or mom that wasn't the jealous, angry son. Today, we are all very close. I love them to death and would do anything for them. Some time ago, my father was diagnosed with cancer. He's had other issues as well, suffered through 2 heart attacks and a stroke, and it seems as if his body can't carry on anymore. He's dying, and I don't care. I don't have it in me to care. And if he died, I could live the rest of my life having never seen him before he passed, or knowing that I won't attend his funeral. He wasn't present at my wedding either. I did not invite him, which was very noticeable to many of my family members, but I didn't care. I'd found a woman who loved me, and that I loved, and I wanted to share that day with the other important people in my life that I love or strongly like. My uncle was always sympathetic to my case, as growing up. My father, his older brother, was an asshole to him, and he understood why I wouldn't want my father there, even while other family members thought I should have still invited him. Here's the thing, he wants to see me. He probably has only a few months left and now wishes to see me. My wife, mother and sisters all want me to pay a visit to him. Well, my wife thinks I should go just once. She isn't pressuring me. She knows my history with him and says if I decide not to go, that's it then. My mother and sisters, however, do think I should go and have all spoken to me several times in the past month about this. The only person who's laid off bugging me about it is my older sister. I'm the second child. She's 34, and she was the one who say my father be a dick to me from as far back as she or I can remember. My 2 other sisters are several years younger, 26, 25. We met recently to talk about it. My older sister and I, and for the first time in years, I broke down crying. I literally just let it out. I told her I can't do it. I tried to put everything in the past, but I can't. I hate that man and what he did to me mentally. I can't forgive him, and she says she understands. She said she'd speak to my mother and sisters, however my mother and sisters tend to be very pushy. Anyway, do you all think I should go? At least once. Relevant comments below. Somebody said, while only you can make the decision on whether or not you want to see him, it might be an opportunity for you to find some sort of personal closure. You don't have to go and tell home everything is okay and that you forgive him. You can go and tell home all the things you have said here and get it all off your chest. Whether he wants to listen and apologize is up to him. He may very likely be finally feeling remorse. Regardless, you may feel better knowing that you finally told him how you felt and what he has done to you. Let him know that you have succeeded despite him, not because of him. However, if you feel that this wouldn't help you, then I would just not go. No use going and just being uncomfortable or going just out of feeling like you owe it to your mother or sisters. You would just be resentful. Original poster replied, to be honest, the idea of helping him make peace with himself and me after years of being treated like dirt, it makes me sick. The idea that this guy, who is the reason I suffer with bouts of depression and was even deadly when I was in my late teens, now could possibly want to tell me he's sorry, it doesn't sit right with me. I wouldn't even be surprised if he tells me that I'm still worthless, at which point I may have to avoid punching a dying guy in the face. Another commenter, Nayap, I think you need to put your own mental health first. A few questions to consider. Is there anything you feel like you could gain from seeing him? Is there anything you want to say to him while you still have the chance? If he suddenly begged for your forgiveness, how could you see yourself handling that? If he swept the past under the rug and resolutely ignored it, how do you see yourself handling that? And the big one, no matter what happened, when you left that room, do you think you'd feel better or worse than before you went in? Is there any situation that would give you some benefit, and how likely is that to happen? Original poster replied, probably just hearing a soon-to-be-dead guy's last words to me. Probably that if I have a son, I will do my utmost to be a far better father than he ever was. I would say no. You had your chance. I tried to end myself once because of you, and you didn't bat an eyelash, so you can die now, and I'm going to leave here, and you won't cross my mind again. I think I'd be angry. He doesn't get the right to decide. It's okay between us, that my choice and mine alone. He doesn't get to decide on his deathbed. I hurt you, but it's cool. We're cool now. The big one, I can't say, maybe worse rather than better. Maybe a mix. I'll likely be angry though. Because here's why all my life I saw him as the big scary man who broke me down. Now I'm grown up and strong and doing well, and I can't look him eye to eye, man to man, and say whatever I might have to say because I don't know what I would say if I went. It would probably just be spontaneous. But no. I have to look at a man to broken old dam lying on a deathbed and pretend to care that he's going to kick the bucket for my family. Excuse my language, somebody said. Go and see your father and tell him this. It is the last chance you will have to make amends. It's the last chance you will have to potentially hear your father apologize or for him to tell you that he is proud of you but didn't know how to express it. He might not do any of that, in which case you are no worse off than you are now. In the best case, though, you might get some peace and closure. Obviously, it can't make up for all that has happened, but at least you will no longer have any what-ifs eating away at you. Original poster replied, honestly, if I go, it will merely be out of curiosity to see what it is he wants in his final few days or weeks, making amends, telling me he's been proud but didn't know how to express it. Even if he did want to say things like that, the time for that was maybe a decade ago when I wanted his validation and respect. I don't anymore. I don't have any what-ifs. Maybe what if might have been. What if he'd treated me well instead of like crap? But that what if disappeared when I cut him off nearly a decade ago. But Cabbage's commenter, it doesn't sound like it would be healthy for you to go. Did your mother ever acknowledge that what he did to you was wrong? I would just say to your mother and sisters that seeing your father would not bring you peace of mind, and your father's actions caused you not to care about his peace of mind. Original poster replied, yes, but I think as he's dying, they just want me to see him. Another commenter, would it make any difference to you if he wanted to say he was sorry? I have no idea if this is why he wants to see you or not. Would it make you feel better, or do you just not care? Regardless, it's 100% your choice. If you don't go tell your wife and older sister, you need them to support your decision. Tell your mom and your other sisters they need to stop talking to you about it. My experience with Dad was 100% different from yours. He verbally and emotionally neglected and abused me from when I was small until I moved out. The fact that he so obviously adored all of you made it even worse for me. I've managed to move on, and I have no wish to revisit the emotional pain and turmoil that I suffered. Please respect my decision and don't discuss this with me anymore. But my experience with Dad was 100% different from yours. Please respect my decision. If you bring it up again, I am going to have to exit this conversation. Original poster replied, it wouldn't make me feel better. I don't care anymore. Maybe 10 or even 5 years ago. Not now, though. The only reason I'm curious is to see if he's remorseful or wants one last opportunity to be a dick. Like I said, I don't care. Not that he's dying. Not that by my birthday next year, he'll likely have been dead for some time. Even if I visit him, I won't attend his funeral, nor will I ever visit his grave to pay respect, because I have no respect for that man or any other sort of positive emotion. A commenter said, I had a father who wasn't abusive, but certainly not emotionally supportive during my childhood. He paid a lot of attention to his biological kid from another marriage. Our relationship got much better over the last few years, mostly because we made an effort to understand each other better. If I was in this situation, I'd be there, and it wouldn't be an issue, because he made an effort while he still had years ahead of him. The reason I'm telling you this is that I'm 3 years younger than you. Yet it seems during this entire time where he thought he'd be alive, your dad never really made an effort to reach across the aisle and apologize to you or make amends. Not to be a dick, but deathbed confessions are cheap. His ego is finally out of the question now that he's facing his mortality. But where were these feelings during those 31 years? Your mother and younger sisters are thinking emotionally and are being extremely selfish because this is what they want. They want some cathartic moment to justify doubting you all these years and validate their views that your dad was some great guy. Damn that. That's all this is. It has nothing to do with your well-being. I think you're better served by staying home and standing up for yourself. If they call you selfish or an asshole or anything heartless like that, then ask them where they think you got it from and hang up and let them deal with it. They were on each other's side during life. Why should death change that? Original poster replied, "This actually makes a lot of sense, the way you explain everything. My older sister knows he was an asshole on some level, yet at the same time being his first daughter, she was pretty much the apple of his eye, so she's a bit 50-50 on that." A commenter, "I would really highly encourage you not to go. You sound like you'd be doing it only to appease other people. It's not right. And if you don't, you can see what the aftermath is and whether or not your mother and sisters hold more loyalty to a dead man than their living flesh and blood." Original poster replied, I know it won't tear us apart like so many people feel. My younger sisters never saw me get treated badly. By the time they were old enough to see what was happening, I'd been out of the house for a few years, so I can't blame them nor hold it against them. I don't even hold it against my mother, because she's old, she's ill, and perhaps one of the greatest tragedies in her life is that her husband and her only son have never liked each other from my perspective. Even if I don't see my father and he dies, she won't hate me, nor will my elder sister. Update 3 weeks later. So I went to see my dad, and it basically went like crap. I caved. I freaking caved and decided freak it. I'll see what he wants. Maybe this is something worth hearing. I visited the hospital by myself. Now my wife. No mom, no sisters, just him and I. He looked old and tired, and just as I predicted, I didn't find it in me to be angry. This wasn't the man I remembered. This was just some old broken man. It would have been a waste of my time to feel angry, and yet I did. I was so pissed off because I couldn't stand him from eye to eye and let him see that the son he treated like crap had built a wonderful life for himself. We didn't say anything to each other for around an hour. Then eventually, I found my voice and said, "You know this is the last time we'll ever see each other, right?" No response. Then he replied, "I know." So I asked him why now? Why did he want to see me so badly that he had to send a message through my mother for me? And here is where I learned that my existence was freak all to him. He admitted that he did it just to give my mom closure. She didn't ask him to do it, but he knew she wanted it. So I asked him why he treated me the way he did my whole life, and he replied, "I never wanted a son, never had any interest in one." It freaking hurt, but I kept listening, and he kept speaking. He said that in the first few years of my life, he tried his best to care about me, but eventually he realized he couldn't. Then came the final nail in the coffin of my relationship with that man. I never loved you, but I didn't hate you either. I just didn't care for you because I never wanted a son. I wanted to give you up for adoption when you were younger, but your mother would never have forgiven me. So I did my best to push you aside, and you would always try and get my approval for stuff. I felt bad at times, but I just didn't care for you. By that time, I was crying. Me, a 31-year-old man, left my dying father in his hospital room and went to my car crying. I could have gone my whole life not knowing that. Freaked my mom, my sisters, my wife, and my dad. I'm just so pissed right now. There was a part of me that hoped we would bury the hatchet. Nope, I just learned he never gave a freak. I will never speak of my father again. I will not attend his funeral or visit his grave. When he dies, I'll be at the bar drinking because the freaker is gone from this world, and I will do everything I can to be the father he never was. Edit. I just want to say thanks to everyone for your kind words, both in comments and private messages. They really helped a lot, particularly while I was hungover this morning and laying in bed thinking about life. Also to the stranger who gave me gold, thank you. Never had that before, and it was quite unexpected. I've got a ways to go still. I feel like yesterday opened up wounds I didn't even realize had never really healed, and I'll be talking to my wife about it, and most likely a professional as well. I won't cut my mom or sisters out. I am not angry at them. Their experiences with my father were different from my own, and I do not fault them for that. However, right now, the best thing for me is just to not be around them as much. So I don't think they'll be seeing/hearing from me for some time. Once again, I sincerely thank everybody. It was your comments and private messages that made me realize, yeah, it hurts like hell, but I can't let him have any more power over me. I'm in the prime of my life, and I've built a nice life for myself. I don't need a dying man's approval anymore because I've done the best I could for so long without it anyway. So here's hoping things will get better soon. Original poster replied to a deleted comment. You know what I regret? I regret listening to my mother. I regret reading dozens upon dozens of private messages and comments telling me to go see my dad, that I needed to do it. Most of all, I regret listening to myself, to that small voice telling me this was my one chance to hear him say something I'd wanted to hear since I was a child. If I'd never gone, I would have been curious, but I'm damn sure I would have regretted it less than I regret going to the hospital. Well, maybe it was some form of closure, although a really damn one. Good riddance. I don't get along with my father either. This whole story gives me anxiety. Original poster replied. I'm damn done. I've spent the night at a bar and am just here in a damn motel room, unable to sleep and just freaking pissed. I had to be the stupid kid who still hoped daddy might just secretly have loved him, and in reward for my stupidity, I got the same as I've always gotten. Nothing. Freaking nothing. Not a single freak has any shred of remorse. Another comment replied, You're not stupid, and you're not a child. You knew deep down, that's why you didn't want to. You sucked it up and gave him a shot. You faced it. Original poster also replied, Nope, but I still had the same foolish childish hope that things might be even a little okay. I made the same mistake I always did with him. I faced it, but it wasn't worth it. A different commenter replied, Don't call yourself foolish or stupid or childish over this. Expecting a parent to give a freak about you isn't stupid or childish. It's the bare freaking minimum a human person ought to expect from a parent. Not having it sucks. Hoping against hope that you might have it after all is completely natural. I would even say healthy. Your father is horrible for crushing your hopes. Your mother and sister are pretty awful for allowing it to happen. How awful depends on how willful their ignorance of the situation is. But when you call yourself stupid for having those hopes in the first place, you're playing into his game, like it's natural for him to behave the way he does. You were right to have hope. There was a chance that things might have gone better, that your father might not have felt or said things differently. Maybe that chance was too low, and you made the wrong choice to go. But then again, pleasing your mother and sister is also a reasonable motivation. Either way, that things went the way they did is on him and the universe for dealing you a damn hand, not on you. Somebody said, We don't get to opt into the family we are born into. That's why spouses and friends are so important. They're the family we pick. I'm so sorry this happened. Screw your father. You deserve better. And he should have taken that kind of hell to the grave with him. He could have lied and pretended or something if he was even a halfway decent person. As someone who has cut ties with family members, I am so sorry. I will likely be faced with this situation someday. It's an impossible decision. Do you forgive and let the person die in peace? Do you stand by your beliefs? Do you go and let them dump on you? I know it's easier said than done, but don't let this bug you. It was always the case that he didn't shit. Now it's just known to you as well. Go hug and appreciate the family you chose, and don't give him another minute of your time. Original poster replied, I'm glad he didn't lie. At least I got to hear some of what was going through his head in regards to me for 31 years. And as harsh as it was, I'd rather know that than him giving me some BS fairy-taled sob story apology. At least I finally got the answer I was looking for, but hoping I wouldn't get, and he got one last chance to kick me, so we both won in a way. Commenter. Have been a passive observer for a while, but set up an account to reply to this post. Be the man your father was not. Go and see him, hold his hand and tell him all those times you hurt when he treated you like hell. Forgive him for what happened and hug him before you leave. That way, you are the bigger man. Let him know what he missed all those years and don't hold anything against him. When he dies, go to the funeral to say your final goodbye. You will have a weight lifted off you that you would never have been able to lift off even with all the therapy sessions. Be the man your father was not. Original poster replied, I already saw him. I am not going to forgive him. He doesn't deserve it. I have no plans to hug him, hold his hand, or demonstrate any affection. There is none. When he dies, his son will not be present at his funeral. I have no goodbye to give him. When he dies, I'll carry on with my life. I went to see him once, and that is it. No more. I can be the man he wasn't, without doing those things. Somebody said, the worst part is that if he'd just given you the approval you craved and treated you like a decent human would, you probably wouldn't have kept coming back for his approval. He might have treated others well. But this shows that at his core, he's not a good person, because a good person treats everyone well, regardless of their feelings towards them. What he did made you resent him and hate him for never giving that approval you craved. He could have made both his own and your life infinitely better by not being shitty. I hope you can find all the happiness in your life that you deserve and use your dad as a prime example of how not to treat people. Original poster replied, the worst part is me still being the child wanting affection. I should have known better.